You are alive right now because humans learned to live beside something that should have killed them. Not a tool, not an animal, not a weapon they made. Something older, hungrier, and far more dangerous. Today, you barely notice it. It warms your room, cooks your food, lights your cities, and hides inside machines that make the modern world move. But take all of that away, and it becomes terrifying again. No walls, no lights, no cooked food, no safe night. Just a fragile human body, standing in the dark while the one thing almost every animal feared became the one thing humans could not survive without. But here is the strange part. Humans probably did not discover fire. By making it, they may have discovered it. By stealing it. From lightning, from wildfires, from burning trees, from glowing branches. Left behind after destruction, the story was not one clever human, rubbing sticks together and changing history overnight. That version is too clean. The real story was slower, messier, and much more dangerous. Because before humans could control fire, they had to get close enough to it. And that is the real mystery. Why would a fragile animal walk toward the thing almost every other animal ran from? The easy answer is lightning. A storm hits a tree, the tree burns. Ancient humans see the flames and somehow they discover fire. But that answer breaks the moment you think about it. Because seeing fire is not the same as using fire, and using fire is not the same as making it. Every animal can see fire, they smell the smoke, they hear branches crack, they feel the heat, and most of them run. That is the normal reaction. Fire means danger. Fire means death. Fire means stay away. But humans did something stranger. They came back. Maybe after the flames died. Maybe after the smoke thinned. Maybe when the ground was still warm. But the danger looked smaller. So the first mystery is not how humans saw fire. The first mystery is why they returned. After a wildfire passed, the land changed, the grass was gone, the ground was black, trees were broken, smoke still hung in the air to most animals. This was a dead place, a place to avoid. But to ancient humans, it may have been something else, a place full of clues. Small animals had nowhere to hide. Roots were exposed. Insects were easier to find. Dead animals could be seen. Tracks stood out on dark ground. A destroyed landscape became easier to read, and ancient humans survived. By reading the world, a footprint, a smell in the wind, a broken branch, a movement in the grass. They were not the strongest animals. They were not the fastest, but they noticed things. And this is the first twist. Fire may not have entered human life because humans understood it. It may have entered human life because humans saw what it left behind. And then archaeologists found something strange. Not a weapon, not a painting, not a carved statue, but microscopic traces of ancient burning inside Wonderwork Cave in South Africa. Researchers found burned bone and ashed plant remains deep inside the cave. That detail changes everything because the shocking part is not just that something burned. The shocking part is where it burned, not out in the open, not where a wildfire could easily pass, but deep inside a cave, and wildfires do not normally walk into caves. This does not tell us every detail, but it points to something huge. Fire was no longer only outside. It was entering human space, a shelter, a sleeping place, a place where darkness used to win. Somehow, fire was coming closer. But here is where the story gets stranger. The first great fire skill may not have been making fire. It may have been keeping fire alive. Imagine a storm has passed, a tree has burned, the flames are almost gone, but under the ash, something still glows. A small red ember, quiet, fragile, almost dead. An ancient human sees it. They do not know chemistry. They do not know oxygen. They do not know temperature, but they can see one thing. The glow is not gone. If dry grass touches it, smoke appears. If bark is placed near it, the glow grows. If wood is added, flame returns. That is not invention, that is learning. And for a long time, the most important technology on Earth may have been a dying coal hidden under ash. At some point, humans stopped waiting for fire to stay where nature left it. They took it. A burning branch, a glowing piece of wood, a small ember, wrapped in dry material. This was not mastery yet. It was theft, but stolen fire was dangerous. It could burn the hand that carried it. It could die in the wind. It could vanish in rain. It could turn dry grass into disaster. So humans had to learn a new kind of skill. Not hunting, not running, not fighting. Care. They had to feed the flame, shield it, move it, revive it, protect it when it was weak. Long before humans domesticated animals, they may have domesticated danger itself, and before humans fully controlled fire, fire controlled humans. Then the evidence becomes clearer. At Gesher Bino Yaakov, in what is now Israel, archaeologists found burned seeds, burned wood, and burned flint from nearly 790,000 years ago. But again, the important part is not just that things were burned, it is the pattern. The burned material was not scattered randomly everywhere. It appeared in specific spots. Almost like hearths, places where fire was held, used, returned to. That changes the story. This was not fire passing through a landscape. This was fire becoming part of a place. A repeated behavior, a center, maybe even one of the earliest signs of something like home. Because a home is not only a shelter, it is a place you return to, a place where the group gathers. a place where danger stays outside and warmth stays inside. Once fire became a center, night changed. Before fire, night belonged to cold. Predators, insects, fear. A human group in the dark was vulnerable. They could not see far, they could not stay warm easily. They could not know what was moving outside, but fire pushed the darkness back. Not everywhere, just a small circle, but that circle mattered. Inside it, bodies could sit closer. Food could be shared, children could watch adults. Sounds outside the light felt farther away, and maybe stories could last longer. This is the part that makes fire more than technology. Fire did not only change what humans ate, it changed how humans gathered. It gave the group a center after sunset, a place to remember, a place to teach, a place to wait out the dark. But even controlled fire had one terrifying weakness. It could still disappear. If the last ember died, the group might have to wait for nature again. Lightning, wildfires, a burning tree. Luck. So the final step was different from everything before it. Humans had to make fire appear when no flame was already there. Carrying fire means borrowing it. Keeping fire means protecting it. But making fire means calling it back, and this is why the evidence from Barnham in England is so important. Archaeologists found signs suggesting that humans were making fire there over 400,000 years ago, not just using fire, not just sitting beside it, making it. That is a huge difference, because by then, fire was no longer only a monster humans followed, no longer only a fragile thing hidden under ash. It was becoming something humans could create, something that no longer belonged only to storms, forests, and chance. So how did ancient humans discover fire? Probably not in one perfect moment, not one genius. Standing in the dark, rubbing sticks together, and changing history overnight. The real answer is slower, stranger, and much more human. First, they feared it. Then they followed what it left behind. Then they carried it. Then they protected it. Then they built their nights around it. And only much later did they learn how to make it themselves. That is why fire was not just discovered. It was approached, stolen, fed, guarded, remembered, repeated, and finally created. The discovery of fire was not a single spark. It was thousands of years of humans learning not to run away. Today, fire comes back whenever you want. A switch, a stove, a lighter, a button. You do not guard it through the night. You do not carry embers through the cold. You do not protect one tiny glow from rain. Fire feels small now, controlled, quiet, almost invisible. But for ancient humans, fire was never just a flame. It was warmth. When the night became deadly, it was light. When predators moved in the dark, it was food made softer, a camp made safer, a group pulled closer together. And maybe that is the strangest part. The first fire was not just discovered, it was kept alive. And maybe that is the real reason humans changed the world. Not because we were fearless, but because we were the only animal that saw danger and decided to sit beside it.